All right, so basically, I graduated Villanova in May with a degree in English, and I had done some journalism internships, and I wanted to go into journalism, but I didn't really know how to go about it. I didn't have any connections in the field, anything like that, and all year for my senior year was just news about how the media industry was dying. Like, that was just all I heard every day. And I interned at Philadelphia Magazine in the fall, and one day, like, half the staff just got laid off, and I was sitting there as an intern, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it was terrible, and I didn't know what to do. And in the spring, I finally joined Twitter just kind of on a whim one day. I was like bored at home, and I did it, and I saw that like a couple of other kids from Villanova that were journalism majors were really active on it and like really involved in social media and really like taking it like full speed ahead. And I hadn't been up until that point. I was like resistant. And then I thought they're gonna get jobs and I'm not, and this is stupid. So I just went for it. And I just started, a friend of mine kind of gave me some guidelines about how to use it, about how to search for people that were into the same things you were, and then they could recommend other people to follow and stuff like that. And so suddenly I was following like 200 people. I probably had 20 followers or something, and they were all from Villanova. But it grew like slowly but surely. And I graduated in May without a job, and I still wanted to go into journalism, but I didn't know how, and I thought I might want to go into food journalism, so I ended up taking a job as like a line cook for the summer because I thought that would be a back way in, and I was just trying to think out of the box on like how a newspaper or magazine would actually want to hire me, because I didn't want to do free internships again. And so I don't know, one day I was like home from my cooking job and it was going fine, but like I wasn't getting anywhere with food journalism, and somebody on Twitter that I was following, and I couldn't even tell you why I was following them in the first place, tweeted about a job for hyperlocal journalism in Freehold nearby. And I thought, hey, that could be like a good freelance opportunity. Like maybe, I probably won't get paid, but maybe it'll be like a way to keep up my resume, keep it current and keep doing journalism. And so I like tweeted back at him and I was like, any chance you're gonna need any local writers for that? And he was like, maybe, send me your resume. All of a sudden I was having an interview with like the Asbury Park Press Freehold bureau chief out at Zebu in Freehold. And I was still under the impression that it was kind of a freelance, no pay gig. So we're like sitting there eating and he's like firing these questions and I'm like, da-da-da, I don't know, like, here's my answers, I don't really know what I'm talking about. You know, I just didn't think it was serious at all. And then finally at the end, like, it was a half-hour long interview and I was like, this is really weird, I wonder. And I asked him like what the time commitment was, and his eyes kind of like widened, and he was like, well, like 40 hours a week. And I was like, oh right, of course, no, I meant like, is it Saturdays and Sundays or at night or, you know, whenever news breaks. And so I think I saved myself. But you know, the interview, he was very interested in like how I use social media and what I'm doing online, and because it's a blogging position. And I told him that I had followed, because it was the weekend that it happened, the Iran Revolution on Twitter, and how everyone was, you know, using CNN fail as a hashtag that weekend, and he was just kind of like in shock that like that could happen. He was kind of, I shouldn't say this, like an older guy and like not on Twitter and that kind of thing, and just an old school journalism guy. So he was impressed by that, I think, and he was impressed that I had my own blog, and I kind of like knew what was going on in new media, and I had strong opinions about like how the blog could be used in Freehold. So then I did a trial week, which I guess is the new thing in journalism. I'm reading, I don't know. And I did the trial week, I blogged a lot, and finally I had an interview, a second round interview with the editor-in-chief and the managing editor. And they, again, just fired questions about new media, and luckily I like, well, I don't know if it's luckily or not, but I'm really like well read on new media because I spend a lot of time on Twitter just reading articles that other people recommend about where it's going, about like how to use it correctly, and not just how to get jobs, but like the journalism field and how people are approaching it these days. And so I went in there informed and had opinions, and I think I was able to prove that I like know how to use it well. So I got the job, and here I am a month later, still blogging and using kind of multimedia to do it, and we have our site linked to Twitter and kind of a Freehold following, and we're planning a tweet up and that kind of thing. So I think it's been super helpful in getting me a job and helping me succeed at the job within like the first 6 weeks. But there's this one woman who either I had followed her at first and then she followed me back just like out of courtesy, I think, because I really am not tweeting important things, or like I'm not important out there, but she works for like a new media research corporation, and it turned out like she used to work at Gannett, which is where I work now, that owns Asbury Park Press, and as I started like tweeting, just kind of like I would get up in the morning and be like, oh, interview today with Gannett people, like just throw it out there, and she would tweet or like direct message me right back and be like, give me the names of who you're interviewing and I'll like get you the scoop and like tell you what to say and like help you out. And I was like, what? You don't even know me, you really gonna do that? And she did. She would like give me all this info, and then like, I mean, she works for a research corporation, so once I got the job, she would like give me advice just on what her research place has found works in new media. So she would like tell me how this blog should go about being in the community and like give me advice on that. And I still haven't met her. I know she's local, but like I don't know her face to face, but she was just instrumental, I think, in getting me the job and in helping the job take off. It was really cool. And it's cool, she's like directed me even towards other new media, like prominent people like Jeff Jarvis and Jay Rose, and she's the one that directed me towards them in the first place. And Jeff Jarvis once like linked to my blog once I was like telling my story about getting this job off Twitter, and he like linked to it on Twitter, and that was like a huge day for me because Jeff Jarvis. And then my hits skyrocketed that one day up to like a few hundred, and now they're back to like 60. I have like a ton of friends in that situation right now because we all just graduated and there's few journalism jobs out there, and I think you either have to like be really tricky at finding them because they're not advertised. Don't just like apply through all the regular websites. You're not gonna like ever hear back, unfortunately. But like either find it through networking on Twitter, on Facebook, find where people are conversing about those kind of things and get in on the conversation and make those connections, and you'll hear about stuff. Or try and like make a position for yourself, really. Like if you know people that work at an organization and you say, here are my skills, like is there any way you could use these? As long as you're like conversing with people in the field, and I think that's one of the big benefits of Twitter is the conversation, then you can market yourself. And I think that's a big thing, is like once you're in on a conversation, sell your skills and like make sure you're up to date and they know you are gonna be beneficial to the organization. I'm Colleen Curry. I work for freehold.injersey.com. It's a new hyperlocal blog run by the Asbury Park Press. And I'm here at Words down in Asbury Park, a really cool new bookstore that just opened. And that's all I've got.